You're watching Meditations from Inside. Once again, here's Chaplain Kelly.
Thank you for joining me for this meditation class on Channel 60. For those of you who are taking this program for credit, please send me a special request or speak to me in person to get the module number 7 worksheet. In the past couple of meditations, we've been learning that even though our thoughts and feelings appear very fixed in our mind, our thoughts and feelings are actually transient. Now, transient might not be a word that you're familiar with, but transient just means that thoughts and feelings are temporary. They appear in the mind, but they are not part of the mind. They're just like how clouds only appear temporarily in a clear blue sky. They are not part of the clear blue sky because the true nature of the sky is vast, open, and peaceful space. So clouds will not remain in the sky forever. Even though the analogy that we use to describe the nature of our mind is a clear blue sky, our mind is actually very different than the sky. It's different than the sky because we can choose what thoughts and feelings we allow to hang out in our mind, whereas the sky can't prevent the clouds from appearing. For those of you who like science, clouds actually form when the invisible water vapor in the air condenses into visible water droplets or ice crystals. So the sky obviously can't stop that from happening. So now we know that now that we know more about the nature of the mind, at this point, I'm going to explain a little bit more about the function of our mind. So how our mind functions. It said that the function of our mind is to identify and understand objects. So I'm just going to say that again. So the function of our mind is to identify and understand objects. So what exactly does this mean, that the function of our mind is to understand and identify objects? So I'm going to explain that process now. And this will be a question on the module worksheet, so pay attention to this. So first, when our eyes see an object or a person, our mind identifies it. Our mind says, that's a cup, or that's a person, or that's a pen. So that's what our mind does. Then right after that, right after identifying that it's a cup or a pen, our mind quickly determines whether that person or that object is positive, negative, or neutral. So our mind then develops a thought that this thing is positive, negative, or neutral. And then from that thought, feelings develop about that object or person. This exact process also happens when we touch something, or when we taste something, or when we smell something. So our mind goes through that complete same process. Once we get familiar with that process, what we're going to be able to do is just sit back and watch as this process happens in our mind. And we're going to be able to see how these thoughts and feelings appear in our mind. Then we will understand that as we change the way that we look at things, the things that we look at actually change. So this all may seem very confusing, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you a very simple explanation so you can see how this process of identifying and understanding objects, how that function happens in your mind. So for those of you, my example, for those of you who've taken Buddhist studies with me, you will have heard this example before. So I'm going to get you to imagine that someone offers you a big piece of white chocolate. So the first thing your mind does is identify that that is in fact white chocolate. Then notice how your mind very quickly goes, is that white chocolate positive, negative, or neutral? If your mind determines that the white chocolate is positive, then your mind develops attachment and thinks, I want that white chocolate. And then positive feelings will appear in your mind. If you neither like nor dislike white chocolate is just okay for you, your mind will probably develop neutral feelings towards it if someone offers it to you. And then you will either like take it or leave it. However, if you're like me and you really dislike white chocolate, what you'll notice is that you immediately have a negative thought. An aversion or negative feelings will appear in your mind. So these thoughts and feelings are not appearing in your mind because white chocolate is either positive, negative, or neutral. There is no such thing as positive, negative, or neutral white chocolate. It's actually just your mind that has made this determination that it is positive, negative, or neutral. So if I changed my discrimination of white chocolate from negative to positive, or I changed it to neutral, I would have a completely different feeling about white chocolate when someone offers it to me. So the next time you have a positive or negative reaction to a person or a place or a thing, just remind yourself of this process that is happening in your mind. Again, if you change the way you look at things, so if you discriminate them differently, you discriminate instead of negative, you discriminate to neutral, or you discriminate to positive, what you'll notice is that the things that you look at change. They appear to be more positive. All right, so in this meditation that we're just going to do, we're going to engage in another breathing meditation. So I know we've done a lot of breathing meditations and we'll do a lot more breathing meditations. That's really a core practice in meditation. In other meditations, we've used counting as our tool to keep our mind focused. In this meditation, we're going to focus on the sensation or feeling of our breath at the tip of our nose. And that sensation is going to help us stay focused on it during the meditation. Now, in one of the classes that we did before, I referred to meditation as being called a mental training. And this meditation really is a mental training. So again, what we're doing is we're training our mind to stay where we want it to. Training our mind to stay where we want it to and let go of all of those temporary thoughts and feelings as they appear in our mind. We focus, and when our mind wanders, which it will, your mind will wander. And when it does, don't think that you're a failure at meditation because our mind wants to wander. We will just very gently, without any judgment, just bring our attention back to our breath. And we're going to do that over and over again until our mind settles where we want it to, which is on that sensation of the breath. When this happens, we will begin to experience that vast, peaceful space of our mind. We will notice some relaxation appearing in our body and calm in our mind. And when that happens, we're just going to focus on that for a while. When I think of this meditation in particular, I think that this meditation is very much like training a puppy to sit and stay. If you've ever had a puppy, you know that that's not an easy process. You know, you push the puppy's butt down and tell it to sit, and it automatically, doesn't sit. It automatically stands up, and then you keep doing that until the puppy gets to where it's able to sit and stay. And so that's what we're doing with, we could say, our puppy mind. We're teaching our puppy mind to sit and stay, and all of that takes time. So just be very gentle with yourself. All right, so we're all ready to get to do this meditation. So let's try this now. All right, now what we want to do is we want to just find a comfortable position for meditation. You have a couple of options in your cell. You can either sit in your chair, or you can sit or lie in your bed. So just begin by finding a comfortable position in which you can be both relaxed and alert. If you're sitting in your chair, make sure that your feet are flat on the floor. Your back is straight but not tense. One of the most important things that we do when we meditate is to keep a back that is straight but not tense. We do this to prevent our mind from becoming sluggish or sleepy. So if you're lying on your bed, you may find that your mind becomes sluggish or sleepy. Relax your hands in your lap and close or partially close your eyes. As we sit with our eyes closed or partially closed, we turn our attention inward to our breathing. We just try to relax into this position, and we imagine that we allow all of our stress and all of our tension to just fall away. When we meditate, we always want to try and breathe naturally, preferably through our nose. But don't attempt to control your breath. We just want to follow this natural process of breathing in and breathing out with our mind. The purpose of this meditation is meant to help us stop distractions and make our mind clearer and more peaceful. This is done by just engaging in a very simple breathing meditation. Now turn your attention and become aware of the sensation of the breath as it enters and leaves your nose. So you may want to just focus your attention right at the tip of your nose, right where the air enters your body, and right where the air leaves your body again. Just try and follow this process of inhalation and this process of exhalation with your mind. As you're doing that, just try to notice Notice for a very slight sensation or slight feeling of the breath as it just passes into your nose and then passes out of your nose. At first, that sensation may seem very faint and difficult to detect. But if you keep your concentration focused right at the tip of your nose, it will gradually become more noticeable. This sensation or this slight feeling of the breath at the tip of your nose is our object of meditation. This means that we should try to concentrate on it to the exclusion of everything else. So just try and keep all of your attention just focused on the sensation of the breath at the tip of your nose. As you try to keep your attention just focused on that sensation of the breath at the tip of your nose, you may notice that your mind seems very busy, and you might even feel that this meditation is making your mind busier. But in reality, you're just becoming aware of how busy your mind actually is. There will be a great temptation to follow the different thoughts as they arise, but you should try and resist this and remain focused single pointedly on the sensation of the breath right at the tip of your nose. When you discover that your mind has wandered and is following your thoughts, you should try to immediately return your attention to the breath. You should repeat this as many times as necessary until your mind settles on the breath. Just try really hard to just focus on that sensation of the breath right at the tip of your nose. If we practice patiently in this way, focusing on the sensation of the breath and bringing our mind back every time it wanders, gradually your distracting thoughts will subside and you will experience a sense of inner peace and relaxation. Your mind will feel lucid and spacious, and you will feel refreshed. You should stay with this sense of mental calm and relaxation for a while. you can relax your concentration very gently at your own pace. When you're ready, open your eyes. Remember, the most important thing about this meditation is not actually the meditation, it's the meditation break. Try to think about how you're going to bring this sense of peace, calm, and relaxation into the rest of your day, so that it may influence everything that you think and everything that you do and everything that you say. Again, thank you for joining me on Channel 60, and I hope you have a peaceful day.